Commander Jack Marston's arrival at Starbase Zelar was nothing short of awe-inspiring. As his shuttle docked at the sprawling space station, which served as a crossroads for trade and diplomacy at the edge of the Galactic Council's vast territories, he felt a familiar thrill. The Starbase was a vibrant amalgamation of cultures and technologies, a testament to the diversity of the galaxy. As he disembarked, Jack was greeted by the hum of alien dialects and the clatter of strange technologies, a symphony of the cosmos. His mission was straightforward, but crucial, to represent Earth in the upcoming diplomatic talks aimed at expanding human presence in galactic trade networks. These negotiations were key to Earth's future in interstellar politics, and Jack, with his extensive experience in diplomacy and conflict resolution, was chosen to lead this delicate endeavor. Liss, his appointed guide and a liaison officer from the Thrikor species, was waiting for him just beyond the airlock. Tall and lanky, with iridescent blue skin that shimmered under the Starbase's lights, Liss offered a greeting with a gentle bow, a gesture of peace among his people. "Welcome, Commander Marston, to Starbase Zelar. We are honored to host you here," Liss said, his voice a soft, melodic whisper. "I will assist you in all your engagements during the summit." "Thank you, Liss. I look forward to learning much from our hosts and fellow delegates," Jack replied, returning the bow with equal respect. As they walked through the bustling corridors of the Starbase, Jack's attention was captured by a massive, snarling creature displayed in a reinforced cage at a central junction. It was surrounded by a crowd of awestruck onlookers from various species, each keeping a safe distance yet unable to tear their eyes away from the spectacle. "What in the stars is that?" Jack asked, his curiosity piqued as he noted the creature's formidable appearance. "It's a Vorian Thunderbeast," Liss explained, watching the creature with a mix of fascination and apprehension. "From the jungles of Balor, it's considered one of the most lethal predators known to the galaxy. No one has ever successfully tamed one, and it's quite rare to see one up close like this. It's here as part of an exhibition on the dangers and beauty of Balor's wildlife." The beast was a marvel, its fur crackling with static electricity that seemed to pulse with its every breath, and eyes that glowed with a fierce predatory intelligence. Jack watched in awe, struck by the raw power and the primal danger the creature represented. His mission here was one of peace and diplomacy, but the universe, it seemed, was always eager to remind him of its wild, untamed nature. As the summit activities began, Jack found his thoughts repeatedly drifting back to the Thunderbeast he had seen upon his arrival. During a break in the meetings, he decided to learn more about the creature that had captured his attention. He found Liss, who was only too happy to share information about the magnificent yet terrifying animal. The Vorian Thunderbeast, or Thor, as some have nicknamed it here, is truly a marvel of its native ecology, Liss began, leading Jack through a quieter part of the Starbase towards the environmental wing where the beast was kept. Balor is a planet of extreme environments, and the Thunderbeast is its apex predator. It can generate bioelectrical charges strong enough to stun its prey from several meters away. Its fur acts as a natural conduit, helping it navigate and dominate the dense, electrically charged jungles of its home. As they approached the enclosure again, Jack saw the Thunderbeast pacing restlessly. The creature's muscles rippled beneath its glossy fur, each step a display of controlled power. Liss pointed to a series of scars that marred the beast's flank. Those are from battles with rivals or during hunts. Despite its strength, life on Balor is not easy, even for a Thunderbeast. "Why bring such a creature here?" Jack asked, his gaze fixed on the Thunderbeast, which seemed to sense their presence and turned its glowing eyes towards them. "It serves as a living reminder of the untamed wilderness that still exists in our galaxy," Liss explained. "It's also here for scientific study. Researchers are interested in understanding its biology, especially its electrogenic capabilities, which could have applications in technology development. Of course, there's also an element of prestige in being able to safely display such a dangerous creature." Jack nodded, understanding the dual purpose of awe and science. The creature stopped pacing and stared directly at him, its eyes holding a depth that seemed almost intelligent. It was then that Jack heard a comment from a group of passing diplomats from a reptilian species, known for their prideful nature. "It's a pity humans are so frail. To approach such a beast would be unthinkable for your kind, wouldn't it?" one of them joked loudly, a series of hisses following what was clearly meant as a jest, but carried a sting of truth. Jack felt a mix of irritation and challenge stir within him. He was well aware of the stereotypes about humans: too weak, too emotional, too soft for the harsh realities of space. He looked at the Thunderbeast, its eyes still locked on his, and an idea began to form. Perhaps there was a way to show that humans were not just about technology and diplomacy, but could also handle the wild aspects of the galaxy. "Maybe," Jack replied, turning to the group with a confident smile. "But sometimes understanding and respect can tame even the wildest beasts. Perhaps one day you might see a human do just that." The group laughed and moved on, but Liss looked at Jack, a question in his eyes. "You're not seriously considering—" Jack gave a small shrug, his mind already racing with possibilities. "Who knows, Liss? Maybe there's more to diplomacy than just words and agreements." As they walked away from the enclosure, Jack's thoughts were not on the trade negotiations or political alliances, but on the Thunderbeast and the wild, untamed challenge it represented. He didn't know it yet, but his half-joking thought about taming the beast would soon become a significant turning point in his mission at Starbase Zelthar. Later that evening, at a reception hosted by the Starbase's commander, Jack found himself surrounded by diplomats and traders, each representing their corner of the galaxy. The grand hall buzzed with the murmur of multiple languages, the clink of glasses, and the soft glow of ambient lighting that shifted colors subtly, reflecting the diverse nature of the attendees. As Jack mingled, he was drawn into a circle of delegates who were exchanging tales of their homeworld's most dangerous creatures. The conversation was light-hearted, yet there was an undercurrent of one-upmanship as each tried to top the other with stories of more fearsome beasts. When it was Jack's turn, he recounted his encounter with the Thunderbeast, noting the intense interest it sparked. "They say it's the deadliest creature ever captured," Jack said, taking a sip of his drink. "I saw it up close today. It's something else." A Vorian delegate, known for his boisterous demeanor, laughed heartily. "Deadly and untamed, but not by a human, surely. Perhaps by one of us, but humans are better suited to gentler tasks, aren't they?" The group laughed, and Jack smiled. Though his mind raced, he was getting tired of the subtle digs at human capabilities. Looking around the circle, he decided to turn the situation to his advantage. "What if a human could tame it?" Jack asked, his voice steady. The laughter around him quieted as everyone's attention sharpened. The Navorian slapped his thigh, amused. "If you could pet that beast, I'd owe you a cargo hold of Greltian wine. And I would arrange an exclusive trade agreement with Earth for your gentle technologies," chimed in a Tarkin diplomat, her tone playful, yet intrigued. Jack's proposal had started as a boast, but now it morphed into a serious challenge. "All right," he said, a plan forming in his mind. "Let's make it interesting. If I can approach the Thunderbeast and survive, you'll all support Earth's bid to join the Council's Trade Committee. And if I fail, Earth will host the next intergalactic cultural exchange on our own dime." Agreement buzzed through the group, and hands were shaken. The bet was made in the spirit of good fun and a bit of serious politics, a combination that was not uncommon in galactic dealings. As the party continued, Jack slipped away to find Liss. He found him conversing with a group of scientists near a model of a new starship engine. "Liss," Jack said, pulling him aside, "I need your help." Liss's brow furrowed, sensing the seriousness in Jack's tone. "What do you need, Jack?" "I need to know everything there is to know about the Thunderbeast. Behavior, diet, anything that can help me get close to it without becoming its dinner." Liss looked concerned but nodded. "I'll arrange for you to meet with Dr. Henna, the xenobiologist studying the beast. But Jack, are you sure about this? This creature is unlike anything you've dealt with before." Jack smiled, a mix of nerves and excitement bubbling within him. "I'm sure. This might be just what we need to change how the Council sees us." The next morning, Jack met with Dr. Henna, a renowned xenobiologist specializing in predatory alien species. Her laboratory was a hub of activity, filled with holographic displays of alien anatomy and live samples of various creatures in secure containment units. Dr. Henna, a slight woman with keen eyes behind thick glasses, greeted Jack with a firm handshake. "Commander Marston, I understand you've set yourself quite a challenge," Dr. Henna began, her tone a mixture of amusement and concern. "Approaching a Vorian Thunderbeast is no small feat. Are you certain you wish to proceed with this?" Jack nodded, his determination clear. "I am. Any information you can provide will be invaluable." Dr. Henna led Jack to a large holographic display showing a detailed model of the Thunderbeast. The Vorian Thunderbeast is not only physically daunting, but also highly intelligent. It can sense fear and aggression, which often triggers its predatory instincts. She manipulated the display to highlight the beast's sensory organs. Avoid direct eye contact initially. It can be seen as a challenge. Also, its fur emits low-level electrical charges, so any sudden movements can stimulate a defensive reaction. Jack listened intently, memorizing every detail. Dr. Henna continued, "It's been observed that the Thunderbeast calms down when it hears certain low-frequency sounds. It's similar to purring in Terran felines. We use these frequencies during medical exams to keep it passive." Armed with this new knowledge, Jack requested a suit designed to handle electrical discharges. The station's engineers quickly tailored a suit embedded with non-conductive materials and sensors to monitor his vital signs. Later that day, in a quiet section of the Starbase, Jack tested the suit by approaching smaller, less dangerous electrified creatures under Dr. Henna's supervision. Each successful interaction boosted his confidence. "Remember, slow and steady movements. Let the beast come to you," Dr. Henna advised as they reviewed the final details before the actual encounter. That evening, as Jack prepared mentally and physically for the next day's challenge, he was visited by Liss. The Threkor brought with him ancient calming incense used by his people during rites of courage. "This is for your focus, Jack," Liss said, lighting the incense in Jack's quarters. "My people believe it helps steady the spirit before facing great challenges." Jack inhaled the soothing aroma, feeling a bit of tension ease from his shoulders. "Thank you, Liss. I'll need all the steadiness I can get." As Liss left, Jack spent the rest of the night going over the plan, visualizing each step towards the Thunderbeast. He understood the risks, he knew the stakes. This wasn't just about proving the naysayers wrong. It was about demonstrating humanity's place in the cosmos, not through dominance, but through understanding and respect. Tomorrow he would walk into the cage of the galaxy's deadliest predator, and the galaxy would be watching. Morning arrived with a tense anticipation that permeated Starbase Zelthar. News of Commander Jack Marston's audacious challenge had spread, drawing a crowd that included diplomats, traders, and even curious members of the station's staff. The area around the Thunderbeast's enclosure was cordoned off, with only a select few allowed inside for safety, and to witness history should it be made. Jack, clad in his specially designed suit, stood at the entrance to the enclosure. Dr. Henna was beside him, checking his suit's sensors one last time. "Remember, no sudden movements. Use the calming sounds when you enter. They're queued up in your suit's audio system," she reminded him, her voice steady but filled with concern. Jack nodded, taking a deep breath to steady his nerves. The enclosure's door hissed open, and he stepped inside. The ground beneath his feet was a mixture of natural earth and synthetic materials, designed to mimic the Thunderbeast's home environment. The air was thick with the musky scent of the beast, and the sounds of the Starbase faded behind him as the door closed. The Thunderbeast, named Thor, was at the far end of the enclosure, its massive form casting a large shadow against the far wall, its eyes, bright and calculating, fixed on Jack as he entered. For a moment, neither moved. Jack began to play the low-frequency sounds Dr. Henna had provided. The effect was almost immediate. Thor's eyes softened, and its body relaxed slightly, though its gaze never left Jack. Slowly, Jack took a step forward, then another, his movements deliberate and gentle. He spoke softly, a soothing tone he had practiced. "It's okay, Thor. I'm not here to hurt you." As he drew closer, the Thunderbeast's fur bristled, a soft crackling sound filling the air. Jack paused, giving Thor time to adjust to his presence. Minutes passed, and then, encouraged by the beast's calming demeanor, Jack took another step. Thor watched him intently, its head tilting slightly as if curious. Jack extended his hand slowly, palm down, in a universal gesture of peace. Thor sniffed the air, the electric charge in its fur subsiding. Then, in a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Thor stepped forward. The massive head came closer to Jack, and gently, almost tentatively, nudged his hand. The contact was light, but Jack felt the weight of the beast's trust in that gentle touch. A murmur went through the observers behind the safety glass, a mix of disbelief and awe. Jack kept his hand steady, allowing Thor to dictate the interaction. After a moment, Thor nudged his hand again, more confidently. Jack smiled, his heart racing with adrenaline and relief. "There you go, big guy. We're not so different, are we?" After a few more moments, Jack slowly withdrew his hand, giving Thor a respectful nod. The Thunderbeast watched him go, its stance relaxed. As Jack exited the enclosure, the applause from the observers was immediate and enthusiastic. Diplomats and scientists alike were impressed, not just by the physical bravery Jack had shown, but by the profound statement it made about human courage and understanding. Dr. Henna was waiting outside, a broad smile on her face. "Incredible, Jack. Absolutely incredible." Jack laughed, the tension of the moment melting away. "We did it, Henna. Maybe this will change a few minds about what humans are capable of." The impact of Jack's encounter with the Thunderbeast rippled through the chambers of the Galactic Council, with an intensity that matched the creature's own ferocity. By the time Jack was ready to attend the next council meeting, he was not just a representative of Earth. He was the human who had tamed the galaxy's deadliest predator. As he entered the council chambers, a grand room where representatives of different star systems convened under a shimmering holographic dome, the usual buzz of conversation paused. Eyes turned towards him, some filled with admiration, others with skepticism, and a few still wearing their disbelief openly. Councillor Threx, a prominent figure in the council known for his hardline stances, was the first to break the silence. "Commander Marston," he began, his voice booming across the room, "your actions with the Thunderbeast have stirred much discussion. Some see it as a stunt, others as a significant achievement. What say you?" Jack stood, feeling the weight of the council's gaze upon him. "Councillor Threx, honored members," he started, his voice calm and clear. "What I did was not a stunt. It was a demonstration of what we, as a unified council, aim to achieve. Understanding and peace, even with those we fear the most. If we can approach what we fear with respect and understanding, imagine what else we can achieve together." A murmur of agreement echoed through the chamber, but it was Councillor Vera from the Tarkin delegation who spoke next. "Indeed, Commander Marston, your actions have shown a new facet of humanity's capabilities. But how do you propose we apply this lesson on a larger scale?" Jack nodded to Vera, acknowledging the question. "We begin by promoting more interspecies exchanges and collaborative projects. We invest in understanding not just the biologies, but the cultures of our galaxy's diverse inhabitants, and we take bold steps, much like yesterday, to bridge the gaps between us." Councillor Lumen, a sage-like figure from the planet Oriel, raised his hand. "Your bravery has opened doors, Commander. Perhaps it is time to consider Earth for a more active role in our environmental and wildlife preservation efforts. Your kind's unique perspective could be invaluable." The proposal sparked a new round of discussions among the council members. Some were eager to embrace this new human-led initiative, while others remained cautious, but the overall tone had shifted. The spectacle of Jack's encounter with the Thunderbeast had softened many previously hardened hearts and opened minds to possibilities. As the meeting drew to a close, Councillor Threx approached Jack, his earlier sternness replaced with a thoughtful expression. "Commander, I admit I was skeptical about your species, but today, you've shown that perhaps there is more to humans than we anticipated. I look forward to seeing how your ideas take shape." Jack smiled, grateful for the opportunity to change perceptions and hopeful for the future. "Thank you, Counselor. I believe we're on the cusp of a new era for the Galactic Council, one where fear gives way to friendship, and where even the wildest creatures can become symbols of our shared commitment to peace. As Jack left the council chambers, his thoughts were on Thor, the Thunderbeast who had unknowingly helped change the course of human relations with the galaxy. The challenge now was to keep the momentum going, to turn the goodwill and fascination into concrete actions that would benefit not just Earth, but all member worlds of the Council. His walk back to his quarters was filled with plans and possibilities. The galaxy was vast, and the challenges were many, but as he had shown, even the most daunting of beasts could be met with an outstretched hand. Following the pivotal council meeting, Jack's initiative to foster interspecies collaboration and understanding quickly gained traction. His successful interaction with the Thunderbeast had not only showcased human bravery, but had also metaphorically torn down barriers of fear and misunderstanding that had long existed between different galactic cultures. Jack spent the subsequent weeks in a flurry of activity, meeting with various species leaders to discuss collaborative efforts on environmental conservation and the integration of Earth into broader galactic initiatives. Each meeting, buoyed by the backdrop of his daring feat, ended with new agreements and mutual promises of support and cooperation. Meanwhile, at Starbase Zelar, Jack and Liz spearheaded the development of a new program designed to study and potentially rehabilitate creatures considered untamable. The program, aptly named Galactic Bridges, focused on understanding the behaviors and needs of various predatory species, including the Thunderbeast. Dr. Henna and a team of xenobiologists were enthusiastic about the initiative, seeing it as an opportunity to apply their research in ways that could promote peace and understanding across the galaxy. It's not just about the animals, Dr. Henna explained during a project meeting. It's about what they teach us about ourselves and each other. Fear often comes from the unknown. By understanding these creatures, we also learn to understand and respect the cultures that live alongside them. As the project gained momentum, Jack arranged for Thor, the Thunderbeast, to become the program's flagship subject. Demonstrations of the gentle handling and training sessions were broadcast across the galaxy, challenging old stereotypes and encouraging a broader discourse on the possibilities of coexistence. The broadcasts were not without their critics, however. Some factions within the Council, and among the wider galactic populace, remained skeptical or outright opposed to what they perceived as unnecessary risks or a softening of their traditional stances towards dangerous wildlife. Despite this, the majority opinion was shifting, slowly but surely, towards a more inclusive and understanding approach. One particularly impactful broadcast featured Jack working directly with Thor. He explained the training techniques and safety measures involved, while also showcasing the undeniable bond that had formed between them. This creature, once considered merely a beast, has become a symbol of what we can achieve when we approach with respect and patience, Jack told the audience. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many young viewers from various species expressing their newfound interest in xenobiology and conservation. Schools across the galaxy started to include modules on interspecies understanding, inspired by the Galactic Bridges program. As the weeks turned into months, Jack's role as an ambassador for Earth and a champion for interspecies cooperation became more solidified. His travels took him from one end of the galaxy to the other, often accompanied by Liz, who had become not only a collaborator but a close friend. During a visit to a planet on the frontier of the Galactic Council's space, where they were introducing the Galactic Bridges program to the local community, Jack reflected on the journey that had started with a simple, albeit bold, gesture of reaching out to a creature in fear. Looking out at the diverse crowd gathered to learn about Thor and other species in the program, Jack felt a deep sense of accomplishment and hope. The galaxy was vast and diverse, but moments like these made it feel like a smaller, more connected place. "It's about building bridges," Jack said during his speech to the assembly, "between planets, species, and hearts. If we can bridge the gap with a Thunderbeast, we can bridge any gap." His words, met with applause, resonated across the gathered crowd, echoing the new era of understanding that was just beginning to dawn across the galaxy. Jack's initiative, Galactic Bridges, flourished under his guidance and the collective efforts of a dedicated team. The Thunderbeast, Thor, became not only a symbol of the program, but also a direct participant in its educational and outreach activities. The program's success hinged on demonstrating that even the most feared creatures could be understood and respected, promoting a broader message of peace and empathy across species. Training Thor was a slow and meticulous process, requiring patience and a deep understanding of the creature's instincts and behaviors. Dr. Henna, Jack, and a team of animal behaviorists worked together to design a training regimen that respected Thor's natural behaviors, while gradually acclimating him to human presence and interaction. Each session was carefully planned and executed under strict safety protocols. Thor was introduced to various stimuli, from different sounds and scents to the presence of unfamiliar beings, all while monitoring his stress levels to ensure his well-being. Over time, Thor began to show signs of recognition and even anticipation towards his trainers, especially Jack, who spent countless hours working with him. Jack's approach was grounded in mutual respect. He never forced Thor into uncomfortable situations or punished him for natural reactions. Instead, he rewarded calm and cooperative behavior with treats and gentle, soothing sounds that mimicked the frequencies Dr. Henna had discovered, calmed the beast. The breakthrough came during a live broadcast of a training session, intended to showcase the program's progress to the Galactic Council and the public. Thor, usually indifferent to the cameras and the distant observers behind the safety glass, performed flawlessly, following commands to move through various obstacles and even gently taking treats from Jack's hand. The audience, both in person and across the galaxy, watched in awe as Jack narrated the process. "What you're seeing is the result of trust," Jack explained, his voice filled with pride. "Thor isn't just following commands. He's choosing to cooperate because he trusts that we won't harm him. This is the foundation of our program, trust and understanding, not dominance." The success of the session had a profound impact on public perception. Skeptics of the program were forced to reconsider their views, and support for Galactic Bridges surged. Educational programs, especially those for young learners, began incorporating lessons on wildlife conservation and interspecies respect, inspired by Thor's story. Jack also organized workshops for other wildlife handlers and conservationists from different planets, sharing techniques and insights gained from working with Thor. These workshops not only spread the program's methods, but also fostered a community of like-minded individuals committed to changing how the galaxy interacted with its more dangerous inhabitants. One of the program's offshoots was the integration of rehabilitated creatures into natural reserves, where they could live out their lives in environments that mimicked their homeworlds. Thor, too, was given the option to roam a controlled reserve, a vast area on a quiet moon that had been terraformed to resemble the jungles of Balor. Here, Thor could exhibit natural behaviors in a safe and monitored environment, serving as an ambassador of his species. Through these efforts, Jack not only transformed how the galaxy viewed the Thunderbeast, but also set a precedent for how humans were perceived in the wider galactic community. Humanity was no longer seen just as newcomers or as a species to be wary of, but as innovators and peacemakers, capable of bringing about real change. Just when the Galactic Bridges program seemed to be reaching new heights of success, a sudden and dangerous incident threatened to undermine everything Jack and his team had worked for. One evening, as the Starbase prepared for a significant public demonstration of Thor's progress, alarms blared throughout the facility. Jack was in his quarters reviewing the next day's schedule when his communicator buzzed with an urgent message from Dr. Henna. "Jack, you need to come to the reserve immediately. Thor's enclosure has been breached." Rushing to the site, Jack found the security team in disarray, and Dr. Henna visibly shaken. The enclosure, usually impenetrable, had a gaping hole in one of its walls, an act of sabotage. "Who would do this?" Jack asked, scanning the chaotic scene for any sign of Thor. "We don't know yet," replied Liz, who had joined the emergency response team. "Security cameras were disabled shortly before the breach. We're flying blind here, Jack." The implications were severe. Not only was Thor missing, but the act of sabotage could potentially turn public and political opinion against the program. Fear of a loose Thunderbeast, even a trained one, could incite panic and distrust among the Starbase's diverse population. "We need to find him before he gets hurt, or hurts someone," Jack stated, his voice firm despite the gnawing worry in his gut. "Thor isn't just a creature. He's a symbol of what we've achieved. We can't let this be the end." Organizing search teams composed of security personnel and volunteers, Jack led the effort, utilizing every available resource. They combed the nearby sectors, using thermal imaging and biosignal tracking devices. As hours turned into a tense night, the Starbase community banded together, hoping for Thor's safe return. Meanwhile, investigative teams worked to uncover the perpetrator behind the sabotage. They managed to restore some of the disabled security footage, revealing a small group of individuals dressed in maintenance uniforms near the enclosure shortly before the incident. "This has to be an inside job," Liz concluded as they reviewed the footage. "Someone with access to the security systems and knowledge of Thor's routines." Jack's thoughts darkened with the realization that not everyone shared his vision of peace and cooperation. Some, it seemed, were willing to go to great lengths to see it fail. As dawn approached, a breakthrough came. Thor was spotted on the outskirts of a habitat zone, hiding in the shadows. The creature appeared scared and disoriented, far from the calm and responsive being he had become through training. Jack approached slowly, signaling the others to keep their distance. "Thor," he called softly, using the calming tones that had soothed the beast in the past. "It's okay, buddy. You're safe." To the relief of everyone watching, Thor recognized Jack's voice. The Thunderbeast slowly emerged from the shadows, its massive body trembling. Jack walked up to him, extending a hand gently. Thor sniffed it tentatively, then nudged it with his head, a gesture of trust that felt like a victory amid the crisis. With Thor safely returned, the focus shifted to the saboteurs. The investigation revealed they were part of a radical faction opposed to interspecies collaboration, fearing it diluted the purity of their own culture. They had hoped to incite fear and distrust towards the Galactic Bridges program by releasing Thor, proving the dangers of such initiatives. Jack addressed the Starbase community later that day, Thor by his side, a clear message that trust and understanding remained unbroken. "This incident shows us that fear still seeks to divide us," Jack said, his voice resolute. "But as long as we stand together, as we did last night, those efforts will never succeed. We believe in a galaxy where understanding overcomes fear. Today we recommit to that vision." The community's response was overwhelming support for the continuation of the Galactic Bridges program. Despite the sabotage attempt, or perhaps because of it, the belief in the program's goals strengthened, reinforcing the need for unity and the rejection of fear-based ideologies. Following the sabotage incident, security measures at the Starbase were significantly tightened, and the investigation into the radical faction continued. Meanwhile, Jack and his team refocused their efforts on reassuring the public and strengthening the bond between Thor and the community. Events and demonstrations were scheduled more frequently, allowing people to see the progress and the bond that had been formed through trust and training. However, just as the Starbase was returning to a semblance of normalcy, another crisis erupted. During a live demonstration with Thor, a sudden and unexpected system malfunction caused the security barriers to fail temporarily. In the ensuing confusion, Thor, spooked by the sudden surge of noise and movement, bolted from the enclosure. Jack's heart sank as he watched the massive creature disappear into the less populated areas of the station. The Starbase went into immediate lockdown, but Thor was already beyond the main hubs, moving toward the engineering sectors where the population was sparse, and the corridors twisted into a labyrinth of maintenance tunnels and supply storages. Understanding the potential danger, Jack grabbed a communicator and directed the security teams. "Do not engage Thor directly," he instructed firmly. "He's scared and confused. Aggression will only worsen the situation." Grabbing a portable version of the calming sound emitter, Jack headed into the maze of corridors himself. He knew Thor responded to his voice and presence more than to anyone else's. As he moved through the dimly lit tunnels, the weight of the situation pressed heavily on him. If Thor, now perceived as a symbol of the Galactic Bridges program, were to cause any damage or harm, it could set back their efforts by years. Jack's communicator buzzed with updates and sightings. He pieced together Thor's likely path and finally found the Thunderbeast cornered in a large power distribution room. The beast was visibly distressed, its fur standing on end, crackling with static energy as it paced back and forth. "Thor," Jack called softly as he entered, the calming sounds emanating from the device in his hand. "It's okay. You're safe. Let's go home, buddy." Thor stopped pacing and turned towards the sound of Jack's voice. The tension in the air was palpable as the massive creature assessed Jack, his posture slowly relaxing as the familiar calming frequencies washed over him. Jack took slow, deliberate steps towards Thor, speaking soothingly. The Thunderbeast's eyes followed every movement, but as Jack got closer, Thor's agitation decreased visibly. Finally, Jack reached out his hand, and Thor leaned forward, allowing his head to be gently scratched. "Let's get you back, big guy," Jack whispered, relief flooding through him as Thor's trust reaffirmed the bond they had built. Together, they walked back through the corridors, Jack guiding Thor with calm commands. Security teams, observing from a distance, were instructed to clear the path and maintain a quiet environment. As they emerged into the main hub, the crowd that had gathered broke into a relieved applause. Jack's successful retrieval of Thor not only averted a potential disaster, but also demonstrated the effectiveness and depth of their training and mutual trust. In the aftermath, Jack addressed the Starbase, his words broadcast throughout the galaxy. "Today showed us that, even in unexpected adversity, understanding and calm can prevail. Thor and I have come a long way, and it's a journey we all share in. Let's continue to move forward together." The incident, while initially a setback, ultimately reinforced the community's faith in the Galactic Bridges program. Jack's ability to handle the situation peacefully underscored the program's core message of empathy and understanding, drawing even more support from across the galaxy. After the tension-filled recovery of Thor, Jack and his team dedicated themselves to a thorough investigation to ensure no further threats would jeopardize the safety of Thor or the stability of the Starbase. This incident highlighted potential vulnerabilities in their systems and procedures that needed urgent attention. With the assistance of Starbase Zelthar's security chief and a team of cybersecurity experts, Jack launched a detailed review of the security systems. They discovered a series of unauthorized access points and tampered logs, suggesting a deeper conspiracy than initially thought. Using the restored security footage and cross-referencing entry logs, the team identified several suspects, members of the same radical faction suspected in the initial sabotage. This faction had infiltrated various levels of the Starbase's staff, disguising their movements and activities as routine maintenance or security checks. Jack coordinated with law enforcement agencies from multiple planetary jurisdictions to apprehend the suspects. Each arrest brought new information, slowly piecing together the faction's motives. They believed that interspecies cooperation weakened the purity of their own culture and saw the Galactic Bridges program as a symbol of unwanted change. As the investigation deepened, Jack approached the Galactic Council with the findings. "This isn't just about a rogue group acting against the Starbase or our program," Jack explained during a council session. "It's about a broader resistance to the change we're trying to foster throughout the galaxy." The council, already shaken by the events and their implications, agreed on the need for more stringent security measures and broader intelligence sharing between species and sectors. They also endorsed the expansion of educational campaigns to combat the fear and prejudice that fueled such extremist views. Meanwhile, public support for the Galactic Bridges program soared. The community saw how the program, and Jack's leadership, had not only survived attempts to undermine it, but had also responded with transparency and resilience. This reinforced the program's message of unity and the strength of diversity. To further solidify this message, Jack organized a series of public forums and discussions, featuring leaders from various species, including some who had been skeptical of human-led initiatives. These events were broadcast across the galaxy, allowing billions to witness or participate in open dialogues about the future of interspecies relations. During one such forum, Jack shared the stage with a former critic, a respected elder from a species known for their cautious stance on interspecies interactions. The elder spoke candidly. Commander Marston's efforts with the Thunderbeast, Thor, have shown us that more binds us than divides us. We must embrace these ties, not fear them. The forum concluded with the signing of a new charter for interspecies cooperation, drafted with input from various cultural and scientific leaders. This document outlined key principles and goals for promoting understanding and collaboration across the galaxy. As Jack reflected on the events that had unfolded since his arrival at Starbase Zelthar, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment and optimism. The challenges had been immense, but they had led to meaningful conversations and actions that could shape the future of the galaxy. "This is just the beginning," Jack said during a private moment with Liz, looking out over the starbase as it buzzed with renewed purpose and hope. "We've started something that can't be undone. We're moving forward, together, and that's how it should be." As the Galactic Council convened for what was hailed as one of the most significant sessions in recent memory, the atmosphere was charged with a palpable sense of anticipation and hope. The session was to ratify the new Charter for Interspecies Cooperation, a direct result of the events and dialogue spurred by Jack's efforts with the Galactic Bridges program. Jack stood before the Council, a diverse assembly of species and representatives from across the galaxy. His gaze swept over the chamber, recognizing faces that had once looked upon humans with skepticism, but now showed respect and even admiration. "Counselors, friends," Jack began, his voice resonant in the quiet of the chamber, "we stand at a pivotal moment in our shared history. The charter we are about to ratify isn't just a document, it's a testament to what we can achieve when we look beyond our differences and focus on our common goals." The council listened intently as Jack recounted the journey, starting from his daring interaction with Thor, the Thunderbeast, to the challenges they faced from those who feared change, to the ultimate realization of a shared vision for harmony and progress. As he spoke, screens around the room displayed images of Thor and other creatures from the Galactic Bridges program, alongside snapshots of the various educational and diplomatic initiatives that had blossomed from it. "We've seen that understanding the most feared among us, like Thor, opens doors to understanding each other," Jack continued. "This charter embodies our commitment to that understanding and to a future where no species stands alone or misunderstood." The vote on the charter was unanimous, a rare occurrence in the history of the Council. As the final count was announced, applause erupted in the chamber, echoing far beyond its walls through broadcasts across the galaxy. Following the session, celebrations broke out across Starbase Zelthar and on many worlds, marking what many were calling a new dawn for the galaxy. Jack, Liz, Dr. Henna, and the entire team behind the Galactic Bridges program were hailed as heroes, not just for their bravery, but for their vision. In the days that followed, Jack was invited to speak at numerous institutions, from academies training the next generation of diplomats to research symposiums focused on interspecies technology and culture exchange. His message was always one of hope and collaboration. As Jack prepared for a speaking engagement at the University of Unified Planets, he reflected on the path that had brought him here. "It started with a simple gesture of peace towards one creature," he told the young audience, "but it sparked a movement that has changed the way we see each other and ourselves." Thor, too, had become a symbol of this new era. Safely residing in a specially designed habitat that was part of a larger conservation area, he was a living example of the principles the Galactic Bridges program espoused. Jack often visited Thor, their bond a reminder of the journey they had undertaken together. In his office on Starbase Zelthar, a new map of the galaxy hung on the wall, marked with symbols representing ongoing and planned projects under the auspices of the Galactic Bridges Initiative. Each symbol was a beacon of the continued effort to build understanding and peace. As Jack looked out at the stars from his office window, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment and wonder. The galaxy was vast, its mysteries and opportunities boundless. With the new charter as their guide, and the spirit of cooperation it represented, there was no limit to what they could achieve together. "Here's to the future," Jack murmured, his eyes on the stars. Together. The legacy of his actions with Thor would continue to resonate, influencing generations to come in their approach to the great unknown, not with fear, but with curiosity and an open hand.